Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Reviews and News. All right. So, how I started this, I can't say how I started it. First, let me greet you. My name is Kendell Lenice. I'm a transformational life coach and speaker, and I'm also your reviewer. Now, I had started doing MAFS, Married at First Sight, on TikTok, as some of you may know. And then people said, bring it on over to YouTube. Well, I've been slow on the giddy up, bringing it to YouTube. I do have, we're doing season 13, Houston, Texas, the current season right now. Now, I must apologize to you. I am slow on the giddy up. I have been crazy busy, so I'm just getting caught up with Married at First Sight. So what I'm going to try to commit to do is to get caught up this week and then continue in the normal pace next week. So I'm getting ready to do 3 and 4 for you right now. Then I'm going to do 5 and 6, then 7 and 8, and then I should be done and caught up. So I'm just going to give a rough overview, and hopefully some of you will be getting caught up to, and this won't seem ancient or old. My life coaching clients have asked me, one in particular, she knows who she is, and says, definitely do the review. I want to hear your take. And on TikTok, I was giving it from a life coaching point of view, and they were like, you need to do it. They need a Black woman on Married at First Sight, and I would love to be one of the experts on there. As a Black woman of a certain age and experience, I would love to be on there. I started the review, even though I've been watching Married at First Sight forever, I started the reviewing with Chris and Paige. And y'all already know why. If you follow Married at First Sight, you know why I could not keep my mouth closed last season. And I talked a little bit about with Imani and Woody and all of that, but I really was going in last season, season 12, which was in New Orleans. And shout out to all the couples that are still married from that season, seasons past. All right, let me get right into it. This is just going to be an overview because I'm going to catch up, I promise. And I'm going to continue the reviews. All right. Houston, Texas, season 13, episodes. Which ones I got? 3 and 4. Or I'm going to do 4, 3-ish. Well, you all know the couples, and this was my my book. Okay, here it is. Wait. Let me get it. So we already know what's happening, right? We have, for those that don't know, 5 couples: Michaela and Zach, Mirla and Gil, Bao and Johnny, Brett and Ryan, Rachel and Jose. Those are the 5 couples. And as I said, the last review, I'm glad to see so many people of color in one season, because we know we had, 2 Black couples. Because before, back in the day, if you really have been watching this for the years ahead or behind that we've had, there used to be only 4 couples. And then a few seasons ago, they decided to do 5 couples. And most of the time, there were only 1 Black couple, maybe 2 Black couples. Now we have a Black couple, we have 2 Latinx couples, we have an Asian couple, and the minority is the white couple. I love to see that. Not that the whites are the minority, but usually, let's just keep it real, it's overpowered with white couples. So now you get to see an array of different kinds of love. So I'm feeling that. All right. So 3, they were still getting together, trying to get them married off. So I'm just going to skip to 4 if y'all don't mind, because 3, everybody was getting married.
And I think, let me see real quick. I thought I had my right book because sometimes most of the time I'll take notes so I can give it to y'all. And I think I brought the wrong book down. That's all right, because I'm gonna keep going because I'm committed. I'm committed to bringing y'all what I think. All right, so let's just talk about some of the couples. So Rachel and Jose. So we know that they've all gotten married, right? And they're all in the honeymoon. I'm behind. I know they're past the honeymoon now. So I'm at the honeymoon stage, right before the honeymoon. So they all finally married each other. Some were feeling it right away, some weren't. Now, married at first sight, for those that don't know, they are literally marrying at first sight. You know how you get love at first sight? They're marrying at first sight, meaning the day that they get married is the day that they marry these strangers. So already, you know, they have that in common. Who is wild and crazy enough to marry someone sight unseen until the actual wedding? You don't know what they look like. You don't know their name. You don't know where they're from, what they do for a living. If they have a job, you know, they are matching people with jobs and similar behaviors or similar wants. And also opposites, for that person to bring what that person needs and from that person to receive what that person needs. So they're trying to, the specials, Dr. Pepper, Pastor Cal, Viviana, they're trying to use their expertise to bring the perfect couples together, not perfect people, but who would be great assets to one another. Because when you get married, that's what you want. You want someone who is an asset to you, not a liability, someone that's going to help you grow, help you learn, pull you out of your shell. Whatever you need, you want that other person to balance you out with that. If you're good at saving and the other person is not, you can come together. If you're great at this and the other person is not, you can come together. So Rachel and Jose, they're the Latinx couple. It's two. And so far, they seem like they're right for each other. When Jose first came to the scene, I was like, I don't know. He is extra tidy. He don't play about his credit. He is very, when it comes to money, he is very tight. He budgets down to the penny. Now, as a financial coach, I get it. I understand. You want to know where every dollar, not even dollar, he wants to know where every nickel or dime and penny goes. And she's not good at saving. Rachel, that's not her strong suit. And he even said to her, but that's why you got me. I wanted to make sure I prepared myself. So when I do have a wife, we won't have to think about money. Shout out to Jose for that, right? That he was preparing for his wife, yes, before he had a wife. And that's what you have to do. So Rachel's coming in. So I don't know how that's going to play out. Remember, I haven't seen what you've seen if you have caught up, but I will be letting you know what I think after episode 3 and 4. All right. So Michaela and Zach, now they loving each other from the wedding. You know, she's a beautiful girl, beautiful spirit. So is Zach, comes from a great family. Michaela as well with her 3 sisters, and she's the youngest of the 4 sisters. So they're very protective of her, but they were vibing, her and Zach, from the very beginning. So they show them interacting. They had to go meet with the parents, meet with the family after the wedding, and she just was herself, and so was he. But those sisters did grill him. They were like, listen here, she is our baby. We protect her. We want to know that we can hand her over to you and you will protect her, take care of her, love her, honor her. Are you going to do it? They wanted vows to them. And he was like, absolutely. I play no games with that. But, you know, in episode 3, Zach and Michaela were trying to get to know each other. And she was telling him, I don't play about mine. You know, I'm jealous. If I see somebody talking to you, I'm like, excuse me, that's mine. That's my boo. And of course, it turned him on. He was like, yeah, I kind of like that. I like that. But she wasn't saying it in that kind of way, but she was saying in a, I'm going to check you kind of way. And everybody knows, you know, if they're in love and they're like, okay, you can talk to her, but how long, you know, you're going to be. And they, you know, so they had that little thing going on. And then Val and Johnny, they still talk about when they met before and they knew each other before and in college, and how Johnny decided not to call her back.
he ghosted her, and she still had the old text, and Johnny didn't. So she was like, you erased the whole history. So he wasn't, I don't know if he wasn't feeling her at that time or what it was, but he didn't try to date her. I'm trying to see if I have these other notes right here. He wasn't trying to date her. He wasn't checking for that piece. But she found out, but she like, look at here now. We are married now. We's married now. So so in that case, and he was smiling like, oh, I didn't know, I didn't understand, no. But they are the Asian couple. And I'm saying this because I'm so excited that there's more than one or two kinds of couples here, because everybody wants love, right? And everybody is trying this. So I don't know if this was purposeful or these were the 5 best candidates or 10 best candidates. And then you have Mirla and Gil. Now, Gil's friends kind of grilled her a little bit, and her friends kind of talked to Gil a little bit. Now, Gil seems like an amazing guy. That's the other Latinx couple. He seems like a great guy. He's a firefighter and doesn't care about money. He says money doesn't move him. He doesn't move to the beat of money's drum. And Mirla's like, are you kidding me? That's what I move by. That's my inspiration. That's what inspires me, because I grew up poor and I don't want to be poor anymore. So money is my driving force. It makes me move to the next level, to the next level, to the next level. And he's like, it's just not mine, not so much. Even his friends said it, but Mirla's friends was like, this is what she wants. She don't even need no man. She can get what she wants to get. She can do what she wants to do. She can spend her money how she wants. She doesn't need a man to take care of her. And Gil was like, okay, bet, cool. But he's not moved by money. Are you moved by money? So that can be an issue or go in a marriage if somebody's main thing is money. Like, I can't come to the kids' soccer games because I got to make this money. I can't, go on vacation with your darling because I got to make this money. I can't. That could end up being a problem where one doesn't worship money, if you will, and then the other one does. So we'll see how this plays out and how their differences, if it's going to bring them together or pull them apart. And we'll see, because they're just meeting essentially. Then you have Brett and Ryan. Now, Brett is the redhead. Love her hair. He said he never dated a redhead. That's the one type of woman he never dated. And he always said something to the sound of, well, I ain't turning back now. I'm already married. Like, I guess I'll take it. And I didn't see that as too positive, but I'm not sure what he meant by it. But even in the beginning, he was like, that wasn't his type. He never dated a redhead. And she is in her truth and who she is. If she don't want to wear makeup, she doesn't. If she does, she does. She's very comfortable in her skin. So he's going to have to love and accept her for who she is, and not who he used to date or who he wants her to be. But so far he is liking it and they are vibing, but she's not trying to kiss on no honeymoon. She's not trying to do anything. So in episode 4, they are going to the honeymoon. So of course, if you've watched the show, that they always have their groom and bride hats or shirts or bags, or now they have masks, Mrs. and Mr. and all of that. So they're headed to Florida Keys, because of COVID. Nobody is going out of the country on that show. It's probably simpler for them to be in the States and to be tested that way. Because y'all know, if you go out of the country, then you have to quarantine for 14 days in some cases. Some people are getting stuck in other countries if they're testing negative for COVID. So they're keeping it simple. The last 2 seasons, they kept it stateside. So they're in the Florida Keys right now. Now, Mirla is not feeling her villa. She's like, this is a mess. This is tacky. This ain't cute. This is not what I would do for a honeymoon. Look at this view. Look at that. Complaining. She ain't paid for the trip. She did not pay for the trip. Gil, like I said, he's chill. He's cool as a fan. And he's like, it's all good to me. He's trying to find the beauty and the positivity in it. And she's sitting there with her bun, dissing everything. Now, I get it. It's not up to your standards, but you didn't pay for it, sis. Just chill and enjoy the man that you're with, the cutie pie you're with. Enjoy that and not be concerned about your scenery, because it is what it is. She called it a retirement home. And then it's the contrast is funny. And then he was like, first with Gil and Marilla, he was like, well, what do you want to eat? A salad? And she was like, you act like that's all I eat. And she was like, but I do want a salad though. So he's beginning to learn her already. And I thought that was kind of cute. And she's very tightly wounded. So hopefully she'll unravel a little bit in a positive way and loosen up. She does seem to like Gil though, but she is who she is unapologetically. And at the end of the day, you got to accept it or not. So Gil seems like and I can see why they matched him, because he seems like he's cool. He's like, whatever it is, I'm gonna laugh it off. I'm cool. You know, you do you, you be you. He's starting to learn her. And I think that's why they were matched. Then you have Val and Johnny, and they're happy to be at the honeymoon. They're vibing and talking, and she had her checklist. Not even a checklist on what to pack. She had an Excel spreadsheet. And Johnny was like, for real though? I got a checklist. I got this, this, and this. Okay, check. And she had a whole Excel spreadsheet. He was looking at her like, what? OCD much? Like, he's looking at her. So they prepare for their honeymoon. They go to see their room. And the complete contrast from Gil and Marilla is Michaela and Zach. And Michaela came in like, ooh, this is nice. Y'all hear the TikTok with Tiffany Haddish where they do the voiceover. Ooh, this is nice. There's no roaches or nothing. Have you seen or heard that voiceover from Tiffany Haddish? If you're on TikTok, look for it, Google it. It's probably right here on YouTube. This is nice. That's pretty much how Michaela came in. And I laughed before they went to the honeymoon, because like all braids, just like a rites of passage for many Black women, before they go on vacation, they get their braids, because nobody wants to be doing hair on a vacation. And if you're a Black woman and you got this and that, or natural, you don't want to get in the water. If you get in the water, then you got to wash your hair, then you got to blow it out, then you got to do. A lot of Black women, myself included, I had locks for 13 years, but prior to that, and now that my locks have been gone for a year, yeah, you get your braids, carefree, you don't got to worry about it. If you look at the history of Married at First Sight, and many of the Black women, after they get married and be all, all this way, then you see them go to the honeymoon and they got their braids or cornrows, and I love it. I'm not mad at that. So she told Zach, I got to get my braids. So they came on to the honeymoon and had all of their gear as well. And Michaela has one of those bubbly personalities, and so does Zach. They both have nice personalities, but you can tell Michaela, she can change it real quick. You can kind of see that she ain't no pushover. But we'll see what happens with that. But her natural hair is beautiful. She got a lot of it, and it's nice and thick. And Zach, I'm sure he was rubbing his fingers through her. So, they're at the honeymoon, and before the honeymoon, let me just back up. They meet the families before they go to the honeymoon. Hey, how was your first night? What did you think? Not of the honeymoon, but of the married first night, the night of the wedding. They want to know if they had sex, if they didn't have, was it vibing? Did you like her? Did you like him? So they meet the families, and all of those went well. They want to bring insight to the other person, like, hey, did you know that this person is this way? And they told about Rachel was mean and some other things. Then they went on down the line telling each other about their mate. Even Brett and Ryan, Ryan's family was like, he needs somebody to pull him out of his shell. And she was like, I ain't never had to do that. So they're showing the dynamics, and the families are talking about their person to their new spouse. And you can kind of see as they're doing that, them how they were matched and why they were matched, some of the things that were said from the family members to the new spouses. It's a mad or something. Okay, so back to the honeymoon. So these folks have married a stranger. Oh, let me screw. Before the honeymoon, Michaela and Zach, y'all had sex. That is her husband. She is his wife. They had sex, and they were trying to be discreet and saying it, but you can always tell when someone has sex before the honeymoon, during the honeymoon, because they seem a little extra tight. I'm gonna get that now. Seem a little extra close, and you can tell when you've been intimate with someone in that type of way. It does break down barriers, no pun intended, and it allows you to let your guard down. And you can tell that Michaela and Zach had a love thing going on. So they didn't even make it to the honeymoon. They did it wedding night. That is her husband. She is the wife, even though they're strangers. It was what it was. And then what couple put all of those condoms in the bag? And she was like, was it Rachel? Jose and Rachel. And Rachel was like, we don't need them condoms. We're married. And he was like, okay. But he had like 6, 7, 8. I was like, really, Jose? That's how we feeling? Is that what's happening? But he put all of those in there. She was like, we don't need those. We're married. So I'm sure they're going to be the second couple to probably do that on the honeymoon. But I don't think we're going to see sex coming from Ryan and Brett, because she already was almost not feeling it. She wanted to take her time, but we'll see. Remember, this is episodes 3 and 4. So if you've seen 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, I'm still behind. I'm going to catch up though, promise you. Then you might know something I don't know. So come back to find out what I think about what you already know. But these folks are marrying a stranger, even though on paper, legally, they are married to one another, to death do them part, or until these 8 weeks are up. But and some are taking it like this is a stranger. Some are like, you know what, this is a past. This is my husband. She's my wife. So I'm going to ask you all, do you think that you should be affectionate? Do you think that you would have sex on the first, the honeymoon or the wedding night? And should we keep clothes on? So when you're in the bed, I want those 3 questions. Should we be affectionate? Would you be affectionate? Would you have sex? And would you keep your clothes on? And what I mean by that is, the wedding night, and honeymoon and all of that. Would you put on, ladies, would you put on a nightgown or a nightie or nothing? What would you do with a perfect stranger? And fellas too, because I'm not just going to assume that fellas will be comfortable getting bucket underneath the covers, but it is your spouse. But it's a weird situation. I don't know how I would be. I would have to, if that was my spouse, I would have to have been really attracted to him or had some type of connection that was kismet, in a sense, like that was like a natural vibe. Because that's how I kind of operate on vibe and that whole energy. If I was feeling it, I don't know what I would do. I can say, no, I wouldn't, but if the connection was there, I don't know what I would do. But that's like a weird situation. So that was day 1 of the marriage. They were doing all of this stuff. So then they come the next morning, they recap the night. Good morning. They have their personal cams. You know how they show their personal cams, like, good morning. We woke up. This was our first night in Florida. They do that. And then they look like, I'm married. Who did I get married to? I'm sure that whirlwind is a trip. Like once you come down on that, wow, I can't believe I did this, almost like skydiving. And you like, after you do it, you're like, wow, I can't believe I did this, but they met their match, because everybody is not going to do this, so if they have, they're always going to have that in common because they did that. So Jose is tidy. Rachel is not. Gil and Myra, she's not going to change. She is who she is. Money is what she likes. She's driven by money. She's not going to change. He's not going to change her. Then we have Michaela and Zach, when she met the family, and I'm putting episodes 3 and 4 together. So when she met the family, she talked about her father. And what they didn't show is, you know, I didn't realize that Michaela did the father-daughter dance with Zach's father. That's already a connection right there, because y'all know her father passed away, was hit by a drunk driver in a car accident. So when the DJ, which was insensitive, they should have told the DJ. He was like, okay, bride, where's your dad? It's time for the father-daughter dance. I was like, nobody told the DJ that her father passed away. You know, that was kind of a sad moment, and it was quiet and crickets. And I thought that was very admirable and father-like for Zach's father to come ask his new daughter-in-law's hand in dance. I love that. And they talked about that. And Zach's mom, did y'all see when she met Zach's mom? Zach's mom got 3 sons, and she seemed like she's not trying to let none of them go, especially her baby Zach. And she was, you know, nice enough, but she was still looking at Michaela like, this is my baby still. And a lot of mothers feel that way. A lot of Black mothers feel that way, that baby boy syndrome, like almost like their sons or their possessions or almost their men in a sense. But she wasn't. You could tell she wasn't feeling it. The husband, the father was a little laid back. The mother was like, let me make sure. And she said, but I don't think Zach's mom would have liked anyone. He's the baby boy. You know, his family is tight. And that, you know, that's a good example that Zach had. And they talked about that. Zach had a great example of marriage and family, and Michaela, not so much. She said her parents, you know, was fighting, it was arguing, it wasn't smooth sailing as it appears on Zach's. And she's like, she doesn't want that. She don't want to argue. She don't want no screaming and hollering. She wants something simple. So I think that I love the contrast that they do. So Zach can help her bring to life what she wants based off of his experience. Then you have Bao and Johnny. They seem to be in good standing. They seem to like each other. You know, she got all dressed up to meet his family. Johnny was still upset that the father was not having any parts of Married at First Sight. He wasn't there. And Val said she's good with dads and she'll talk to him and he'll like her. So I love the fact that she was there for him and saying, you know what, it's going to be all right. He's going to come along and come on board, and it's going to be all good in the hood. So when it's the honeymoon, as we talked about, so it's 5 couples, 5 experiences, wife as the bride, so the bride and the groom, the Mr. and Mrs., you know, who are you? Like, you're new. Well, let me tell you something. That honeymoon, once all of that other stuff wears off, the whole euphoria and fantasia of it all, that you just got married at first sight, now the work begins. Marriage is not easy. And like Pastor Cowell's new book, was it? It's Not for Punks or something like that. I can't remember what it is, but he has a new book out. But it's not for the weak. So they are going to now really get to know each other, because you don't know somebody until you're in their space on the regular, or they're in your space on the regular. That's when you get to see people's trends, people's traits, how they really feel, how they really are. Are they messy? Are they clean? Do they clean up after themselves or not? Do they cook? Do they don't? Do they wash clothes? You know, do they have bad habits? You know, are they going to get on your nerves? What you thought was cute ain't going to be cute no more. What is it? They're going to get to the real, like they say, to the gully of everything. So they'll get to find out who each other is and figuring out what's going to happen. And they got 8 weeks to do it. Jose, when they first got to the honeymoon, Jose asked Rachel if he could brush her teeth. And Rachel was like, that's kind of weird. And I'm like, yeah, that is weird. And now she would have sat there and said, come on, do it. I'd have been like, so I'm glad that she thought that was weird, but he was straight up serious. But his teeth did look super white and they look good. So he must love brushing teeth. So I'm like, okay. But, and Mirla, child, I'm anxious to see how Mirla is going to be, because she seems very rigid and she seems very herself. But they connected when they talked about each other's dads. Both of their dads were murdered. And they were like, what? You know, Mirla's dad was murdered, and so was Gil's dad. So they did bond on that. And what that is called is a trauma bond. So I hope since they were connected by experts, hopefully they won't have that trauma bond, because sometimes that trauma bond keeps people together longer than maybe they should be together. But, you know, he talked about him seeing his dad at 14 get killed and how, and then Mirla talked about the murder of her dad. And I thought that was both sad, but that was interesting. And I don't even know if the experts knew that part, that their dads were both murdered, because I didn't see in the casting process them talking about that. And then maybe they could have, or maybe they had no clue, because who asked those type of questions, right? So it ends, episode 4 ends with, you know, them with the cams showing each other. And then it ends with Michaela not feeling Zach, or Zach saying he feels sick. And then they show the previews of what's going to happen next. And he thinks he might have COVID. One of his friends has COVID. He's not feeling well. You know, he's been tested, and it kind of hangs over there. And Michaela's like, I didn't want this for my wedding. So y'all might, if you watched ahead or you're on point, on trail with what's happening, you've seen it before I have. So I'm going to try to watch 5 and 6. And y'all know these episodes are like an hour. They're 90 minutes a piece. Now I got 1,000 things going on. So to sit down with like 180 minutes, like 3 hours or more to watch 2 episodes, but I'm going to do it because I want to really get caught up so I can bring these to you the week that they air. So we'll see what happens, but I wanted to come on to let you know I didn't forget about my show, Married at First Sight. I'm watching that, and I'm watching Love After Lockup and Life After Lockup. I don't know why I'm watching these kind of shows, because I like these kind of real realities shows. And as a life coach, I like looking at it. As a woman, I like looking at it, you know, so we'll see. I might do a Life After Lockup or Love After Lockup too. I think I've done a little bit on here. I think on YouTube. I know I did it on TikTok, possibly. But do me a favor and do yourself a favor and follow me on all social media platforms at Kendell Lenice, KENDELLENICE. But for now, this is Reviews and News. MAFS, Married at First Sight, Houston, H-Town, Texas, season 13, episodes 3 and 4. So I'll be back with you, hopefully, to the end of this week for 5 and 6. Then I'm going to try to do 7 and 8, and then I'll be on track with y'all. But thank you so much for watching. For more information about my life coaching, visit livingtruelivingyou.com or kendelllenice.com. Peace. God bless y'all.